Hey Siri, set kitchen light to blue.
The kitchen is not responding.
Oh, bugger. Oh, good evening. How are yous? Sorry, a little bit unprepared here. So, wasn't much doing tonight. Been wanting to go live for a little while now. So I thought, I'll have a shot at going live. Is that the Bismarck? It is. I'm slowly progressing with this one. Hello, Luke. How you going with the cyclone tomorrow? Oh, we're perfectly fine here. We're just outside of its a zone, just slightly north of the zone where it's due to hit. So, yeah, pretty crazy, eh? What's happening down Brisbane, Gold Coast, Sunny Coast way. Hey Terry, how you going? I see they're basically telling people to stay home tomorrow. I heard on the news, I don't know if it's true, but they're saying not to go out on the streets, don't go anywhere, stay home. No work, no school, nothing. Bridges going to be closed, etc. Well, the bridges, I heard, it's all going to be closed if the winds go above 90 kilometres per hour. Otherwise, they don't want anyone on the street. Oh, doesn't that remind you of something else, eh? Oh, well, a few years back. G'day, Luke. How you going? Hello, everyone. It's very difficult for me. Hi, Buck. I see Terry saying hi to Buck. It's very difficult for me to read the comments. I'm a bit too far from the phone. I need to go on a tripod. Well, I moved this Bismarck in the kitchen here to work on it in the air conditioning because my hobby room is way too hot. So I figured I'll sit in here. I've got the aircon running now. It's been crazy. Even right now it is 27.2 degrees outside, but that's not the worst. The humidity is 84%, which makes it feels like 32 degrees Celsius. Unbelievable. And it's 8 p.m. Queensland time. Absolutely unbelievable to have temps like that now. Today it got up to 36 and it said it felt like 40. But the interesting thing is, because I lived in Bundy all my life and I don't ever recall seeing this weather pattern, these type of temperatures when the wind is blowing a south to westerly. So we've been getting southerlies for about a week and a half, and it's been beautiful, guys. It's been beautiful. I haven't had to turn the aircon on. But the last couple of days, we're still getting the southerlies and even the southwest today, and we're getting like 35, 36, and that's just unheard of. I don't ever recall seeing temps like that with southerly winds blowing. Normally when it gets really hot here, it's always a northerly. It always blows in from the north. Always find the northerly is what really, at least we're here where I live. But for a southerly breeze to be that hot, it's crazy. And tomorrow's forecast to be 34 and Friday's 35. So even though it's not summer, guys, it's still too hot to go camping, eh? Still way too hot to go do any of that. So generally, what I do is spare time, when I haven't got a lot to do, which is a fair bit nowadays, I've gone back to doing a some of my hobbies that I've done over the years. So yeah, so I one of them is building models. I used to build a lot of models and all that, and I used to be into model RCs and stuff like that. I even at one stage had a big stint as well is with radio controlled yachts as well. Had a double with them, and as well as radio controlled helicopters, which I still own, as well as what else did I have? Radio controlled boats, radio controlled cars, right up to 1/5 scale with blown engines, like proper whippersnipper motors that's just blown to high heaven, like 20,000 RPMs with tuned pipes that makes it sound like a machine gun. Literally. So a lot of hobbies over the years, but then I don't know what happened as I got older and interest changed and hobbies got dearer, and hobby shops, like physical hobby shops, didn't exist anymore. Like here in Bundy, it used to be 4 hobby shops. Now, all we've got now is just a small hobby section in the toy shop. So I've gone back doing some of my hobbies, and I've been so much happier since. I've been having a ball, and I joined a club, and I'm meeting some awesome people in this club. I love this club. The way they handle it. It's a model railway club. It's the second oldest model railway club in Australia by only 1 month, would you believe? So it's over 50 years. It's almost 51 years that it was established. In fact, I remember I'll get a bit closer to see if I can read some of these comments. I remember, we've gone back to a childhood. Sure have, Robin, except the hobby's a lot more expensive now than when I was a childhood. That's if you don't start building it yourself, like hence what I've got behind here. There's no parts on here that I've purchased. Every single part, everything you see on this, including the chain for the anchor lines, I made myself. There's nothing in there that's not made myself, which keeps the costs down enormously. How you going, Rob? How are you? I can read the comments now. Sorry, I got a bit of a glare. Let me turn this light off for now. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Oops. Let's keep it on. It's very dark. Okay. I'll just turn it around so we don't get... It's a little bit better, isn't it? Hey, Dread Chef, how you going? Have you, sorry, I missed your comment. Hang on, let me see if I can go back. G'day, Phil, I hope you're well. Loving your patience with the model building. I would have surely thrown it out the window by now. Taking me time with this one, guys. Almost 2 meters long. And, taking me time. So this one here. So going back into doing the hobbies. I know Terry has, in a way, he's seen what I've done and he's got inspired. And you should see some of the stuff he's getting up to, man. Yeah, and very impressive. Terry, you're a man of many talents. And I'm sure, just going to grab a drink. And I'm sure you all know that. A man of many talents. So cheers. Yeah, very impressive. So yeah, we got back into our hobbies. I think I've inspired Terry quite a lot. He's seen some of the stuff that I've been up to. Actually, it's probably the other way around, Terry. You actually first inspired me when you invited me down to Harvey Bay. That's what got all this started. You invited me down to Harvey Bay and we went to that, what was it called? M&K Railway. And we had a look at this guy's model railway set that he's been building for what, like 40 years or something? He's got this humongous huge garage and it takes up the whole garage. He doesn't even park his cars in the inside any of the garages. His garage is just far away and it blew us away when we looked at it. Oh my gosh. And then that got me going. You know, Terry used to, 40 years he's been building this. And Terry used to be into the model railway and I did next. The Yamato would be nice, would be nice, but I'm going to have a bit of a break from building model ships for a little while. I built 3 in a row. And I first started with the Titanic, which turned out absolutely awesome. If you haven't seen it, I'll go grab it. Again, every single part on this I built. I did not buy anything. I built everything on this. Every single part. It actually looks pretty good when you've got the proper lights on it. So it's about 1.2, 1.3 meters or something, I suppose. So I'm going to put this back. Oh, cherish that one, guys. One of my favourites, that one. It would be my favourites. And then I have to run. Sorry, Phil. Take care, everyone. No worries, Terry. Then I built the smaller Bismarck. And then I decided, I want to go one step bigger. So then I decided to build one as large as I can. And it happens to be 2 meters, which is this monstrous. Let me stand beside it and give you an idea of the size of this thing, guys. Just look at the size of one of the guns. So, humongous. So of course, it's a German Bismarck, probably the most powerful battleship during World War II. But luckily for some, you could say, particularly the English, were very lucky that it wasn't in service for very long, the Bismarck. Because I like to do my studies on the ships that I'm building, and I like to know the history. The Titanic I've been interested in for a long, long time. Man, if I had a little table I could move this closer. Hang on. Let's see what I can do here. Now, it's not very good lighting, is there? So we're going to have to deal with what we got. Unless, hang on, got an idea. Let's try something different. And is that better? Yeah, it looks better already, doesn't it? So there she is. Humongous Bismarck. You can see there's quite a lot more detail on here now. I'm starting to put some of the finishing touches, and saying that, there is still this cup is half full of weaponry. This has got bridges, etc. in there. This container is full of more weaponry and radar. This has got tugboats, antennas, more weaponry, pilings. Another container here, more antennas, more tug lifeboats, more panels that needs to be glued and painted and stuck on the sides. That's not all. Another box here, full of many parts. As you can see, torpedo launchers, more weaponry, more of where's the, is that going to focus on that? No, more weaponry in here. Lights, there's signal lights, etc. Pins, shackles. So even though it looks like there's a lot on there, there's still a lot to go on it. It's going to take a while to build. So here's one of the antennas here. I'll give you an idea how high eventually this is going to be. That's going to set up that high. Then there's going to be all the wiring and all that. So there's still a lot of work to go on this, guys. And also, if you know much about the Bismarck also has planes. This is one that I've started painting. Again, made. I haven't bought any of these, I made these myself. So, yeah, the Bismarck and the Tirpitz were very powerful, they sure were. This ship would have changed the outcome of the World War. And Churchill knew that at the time. So they sent a few ships over, and unfortunately a ship that dated back to World War I, and it was the largest ship that England had during World War II, the hood was sunk by the Bismarck. And then the Bismarck, very powerful ship, I believe it was 251 metres long, with these 15-inch, that's right, 15-inch projectiles shooting at you. And not just that, numerous other armories, which is not on here. These other cannons as well. So it was built to destroy. Steel plating, which was, I did read about it, I cannot remember now how thick they were, the plating. But ironically, they did have a couple of parts on the ship that was not as strong in painting in the plating as what other parts, like the ship was hit with bombs and so on, it was hardly touching it. But there was one weak point on the ship, and ironically, strangely, that's where they had stored most of their firepower, ammo, fuel. Not fuel, at the time would have been diesel or something. I know it had 3 huge steam engines, I believe. It had a range of some 17,000 kilometres at a average speed of about 34 kilometres per hour, I believe. I think it was 251 metres long, about 37 metres wide. Now, as you can see, it's not a very high ship, so it was quite low in the water. And you might notice that this is a different colour scheme that it was painted. So this is the colour scheme that was painted, and this is the colour scheme that most people seem to paint the Bismarck when they build it, because I think it looks the nicest with this colour scheme. But it's not the colour scheme that it was when it was sunk. So basically they overpainted all of this section along here with just grey. Alright? As well as, obviously I'm not going to show, hence why these are covered. But you can imagine, looking down from the top, we've got the German insignia there. And some people ask, why would they have so 2 huge big German insignias, one on the back, one on the front? And these I hand painted these to scale. And the reason they done that is so that their planes will recognise their own ship. But in doing that, it also showed the enemy where their ships was. So, yeah, so this is a part that's going to take... Now, I nearly was going to turn this into an RC. But I thought, nah, I'll keep this one as a static display. I could always, if I wanted to, do an RC. Heck, I made it myself. There's no reason why I can't make another one. So yeah. I haven't seen any comments for a little while. Let me show you this up a little bit closer. Can I change this? So there she is, guys. I wasn't in the Navy, but I had friends who was in the Navy. I had a mate who was in the, he was a photographer in the Royal Navy in England, and then became a photographer over here. Don't ask me what's under there. If you're watching the news lately, it's been banned. But I've been studying the rules on that, and apparently Yeah. Apparently for artistic purposes, you are still allowed. I debated whether to paint that on the ship, and I thought, you know, it'd be a shame because most of the modellers out there building these have all painted them exactly to how the ship is in real life, which included that insignia. So I decided to do it. And after looking into the law a bit more, yeah, it's a model of history, mate. It's exactly right. And after looking into it more, apparently it's not banned for things like this. Or if you've got a book, or it's on TV, or you're at a school, universities and that are allowed to. And in fact, some church cultures are allowed to display it. It's mainly the rules are put in place. Yeah, it's a good point there, Koala. If you wonder what it's looked like, you could probably... It's a shame I can't show you because I'm quite proud of my hand painting that I've done on that. You can see all the details, guys. You can see all the details. Quite immense. That's what I love about building it. It's such a huge size. There's the amount of details. Look at the weaponry. I started painting them tonight. How you going out there touring? So he's one of the cranes. So let me show you something here, guys. Did you know this about the Bismarck? Where's the part? Oh, this will do. It's not the proper one. See this here? It's a catapult. All right? These are over here. Okay. Yeah, I got 4 planes. There's a hangar that goes here, there's another hangar over there, and there's one there where they store the planes. These sit on the catapult, and then, poof, poof, catapult shoots them out. But how they get back on the ship? So they fly in, they land on the water, and they got these huge cranes, which I've only just started putting this one together. That mounts over here, I believe. I think that one mounts there. Yeah, it would be there. Because over here there's the weaponry. It mounts there, turns around, it's on a winch. Oops. So they winch it up, winch it back on the deck. And they also can fold, and then they fold the wings up. There's one here that's already folded. So still all these parts still to go into it. Here's one. So they fold the wings back. And then one of the hangers with its door shut. Another one with the door open. So these are all had their base coats of that grey. More weaponry here. And the lifeboats there as well. More stuff there. All to be, and all these. So they had 2 of these torpedoes. I think these are the torpedo launchers on either side. So they got 4 on either side. Okay. Yeah, just read that, Craig. Some bit of history there. So I've got quite a lot here. It's quite a spare. Here's some weaponry that I've got to build together. I've got the guns for these. See there? The guns for them. I think the barrels are over. Where are the barrels for them? There's even hose reels. I think the barrels are in here. All these cogs, they're all made by me. South and pulleys, these are all parts of the crane. So, yeah, here's what will I build next? I'm actually going to start building some HO scale. Oops, hang on. I'm actually going to build some HO scale model buildings to start selling. Because I like to keep going. I did show the printers off already in another live video that I filmed recently. I like to keep going with this hobby. But even though I make these parts myself, it's not cheap, guys. You can't just keep making, so I want to get some money back. So I might as well put my skills into some effect, especially with the painting. People have told me that I'm quite good at painting, and I still do dabble into mostly watercolour. Unfortunately, hang on. Let me see if I can show you one of my paintings here. Okay, just bear with me. I just got to there we go. I do a lot of paintings like this. I was very good at watercolour paintings. I used to go in competitions. So that's a watercolour painting. If I can try to show you, depict more accurate colours, that's more like it. We try to bring the camera up closer. So, that's one of my paintings, guys. So, I can dabble a little bit with the paintbrush. So I might as well put that skill to some effect. I used to be vice president of the Art Society. Yeah, love that painting. I've got quite a few others that are hanging up around the house. Let me just put this, let me put this back in place. So I used to enter competitions. I don't know if you can see me there. I'm just trying to put it back in its frame here. That'll do, I'll worry about the rest. That'll do. I need to redo these frames. I've built all these frames myself. Although these are not the proper gallery ones. Although this one is probably close to a gallery frame. If you want to put these in galleries, which I did have some, my paintings have been in some fairly big galleries over the years. I don't talk about it, guys. I don't like to Skype about stuff like that. I've got a painting of a sailing ship. Let me see, I think I saw it the other day. See if I can quickly find it. Found it. Just had to remember where I put it. It's very, very dirty. But this is another one of my paintings. Okay. And this huge ship. Looks like a photo, doesn't it? That's watercolour painting, guys. Now put these away, and that's all I dabbled in, just watercolour paints. Oh, and a little bit of acrylic at times. I don't know where my paintbrushes are in the spare room somewhere, but my paintbrushes are very, very, very expensive brushes. The hairs on them are from tails from real animals. At the time when I purchased them, they were super expensive. So, watercolour medium, anyone who's painted out there, is one of the hardest mediums to paint because it's unpredictable. So you can never ever have one painting identical to another, because the colours just run wherever they want, but you can control it by the amount of water you mix in it. That's why it's called watercolour. So you mix the colours, they're very strong pink pigments, very, very strong. So predominantly mainly mixes with water. And then you brush with a liquidy colour. So you control the flow. That's what I love about the watercolours, is how the colours will blend together and the colours just blend into each other, as you saw in that painting there. So there's no harsh lines or anything. Nice, soft, supple. So the trick is to use very good quality the pigments, as well as, but the most important thing is the paper. The paper is what makes a huge difference. If you've got the right paper, it's a lot easier. Now acrylics and oil painting is heaps easier, because if you do a mistake, you just paint over the top. You can't do that with watercolours. You do a mistake, you can't paint over the top. Colour's permanently there, guys. That's it. Whatever lands on that paper, it's like a cardstock, stays there. It's permanent. That's the way it is. So, yeah. So a lot harder medium to get right. But that's me. I like a challenge. If it's too easy, I'm not interested in it. You know? So that's just me. Oh well, we're almost back to camping weather. Even though summer is over, I can't wait. I've got this awesome camper trailer. So I'm looking forward to the camping with mates up in the Hunter Valley. I've been through that region before, but not for a very, very long time. I think the last time I went there, I had my 1977 Range Rover. And I remember I drove all the way from Bundy here. And it took about 15 hours driving. And went all the way to Cessnock. I think it was 15 hours, 16 hours, could even been longer. I did it in one hit, me and with my parents, because we had friends that lived there. They used to live in Bundy. They're from Fiji. They're Fijians, and they were some of our best friends. Fijians, mate, awesome people, eh? Fijians. I've been to Fiji a couple of times now. Once I went over on a plane. It took about, 2 hours, just under 2 hours to get there, and it took about 3.5 hours to fly back, which I think it's because it must have been blown against the wind. Well, it took a lot longer. Amazing country, the people incredible there, especially when you get away from the city. If you go to Fiji, get away. Nadi is not too bad. But the capital city, yeah. I mean, it's nice to go around, have a quick look around. I only spent a day there. I went to the museum. The museum is absolutely awesome. Had a look around. But mate, you've got to go to the villages. You know, the villages off the path where they've got no electricity, nothing like that. And they're like living how life was like hundreds of years ago, basically. And you got the chief there, so, you know, you get treated like royalty, in fact. In fact, even if you go to the capital cities and you go to any of the government buildings or anything like that, mate, they treat you like as if you're the Prime Minister. Amazing people. Fijians. So love it over there. So I reckon it'd be better. I've never been to Bali, but from what I've heard about Bali, it wouldn't be my thing. You'd drive me up the quackers, up the wall. If I got someone following me, provoking me, trying to drag me into a shop to buy something. Yeah. So, yeah. It's crazy. But the islands, man, the islands around Fiji, just paradise, man, paradise. This is incredible. The south coast, absolutely. Little village there called Sentosa or something, I think it's called. No, not Sentosa, can't remember. On the south, it's where all the rugby league players come from. There's mostly this one village, and the bakery there. Oh, I used to go to the bakery there, and it's not like the bakeries here. They're full of preservatives. There's just no preservatives there, guys. Just everything's just fresh. They just eat so healthy, and yet they're big people. But that's their it's the way they are, eh? So yeah, camping's coming up soon. Now, I don't know a lot of the details on it. You might have seen I've put a post up about a warning on batteries of late. You see on the news a lot these lithium-ion cell batteries that exploding and burning houses down. I hope we don't see the day when that starts happening with caravans, with these dangerous technology cells. It worries me that manufacturers eventually one day will turn around and start selling battery packs that have got these particular cells in them, lithium ion, which is similar to what's in your e-scooters and even your phone that I'm filming with now. So, dangerous. You'll be careful how you charge them. You got to make sure they don't get too hot. Heat is a big enemy for them, heat. Now you might have heard there's a Jayco that's burnt down. And the owners of the Jayco, what I read in the reports, said that they witnessed the smoke coming out of the batteries. But they didn't specifically say what batteries they were. All they said in the report, it says lithium-ion. And if you do a Google search for lithium-ion, it's the batteries they use for your mobile phones. The batteries they use in the e-scooters. How many times have you watched the news at night and seen houses burnt down from people charging these e-scooter batteries? So, yeah. And it worries me if companies start selling battery packs, or worse, battery cells to go into caravans with these same technologies. Now I'm saying this because I've got one of these battery packs sent to me with these cells in them. So it's a portable pack. And I've done a video on it and I've mentioned the warnings on it, but now I'm going to start doing more camping. I will take that with me when I go camping during winter. Because that technology does have some advantages over LiFePO4, but they're too dangerous. They're too dangerous. I would never recommend you to use them in your caravans or four-wheel drives and that, particularly stored in them. Cool. Never been further than Cape Tribulation. Planning to do a month-long trip further north. That'd be awesome. So, yeah. So, just be careful out there, eh? Stick to your good quality LiFePO4 batteries. So, I don't know whether I've seen, I know stuff that a lot of you guys don't know that I can't talk about in the industry that I've seen happen that's told to me by businesses of owners of such and such. Certain types of batteries that have been stored and just exploded overnight while they're in the stores, and there's been court cases, etc. going, and in the end it's found that what was mentioned on their website, what cells they were using, were not the cells that they were using. So that's all I can talk about that. So yeah, just make sure that when you stick to the reputable name brands, someone you can trust. Same as in the e-scooter industries. A lot of these e-scooters that are coming out that are budget e-scooters, there's a reason why they're on a budget. Because they got really, really cheap lithium cells in them. I've got an e-scooter here, and you never want to store them fully charged, because these e-scooter batteries, man, they got a lot of power in them. You know, they're like 48 volts, even 72 volts. You know, there's 72 volts in them. So yeah, and people are not charging them correctly, or charging them when they're hot. That's the worst thing, is charging them when they're hot. You have to make sure they cool down significantly before you start charging them. I've got an e-scooter that I've owned for years, but it's got really, I paid the extra, and it's got the really good cells in it. In fact, it weighs 30 kilos. I can't pick it up anymore and put it in the car and take it anywhere. I might end up selling it one day. It's only just sitting there not being used. So should just sell it, put it into something that I do use. Guys, man, it's nearly 9 p.m. Queensland time here, and it's 27.1 degrees, 85% humidity, feels like 32 outside. Far out. Tomorrow's supposed to be 34, Friday's 35. Add another 4 degrees on top of that. is about what we get where I am on top of what they predict. Usually the pattern we have during March is usually the hottest month of the year, even though it's not summer. We usually cop a couple of really hot spells and then it starts cooling down. It's usually not until well into the end of March, probably even early April. So we've probably still got 2-3 weeks of fairly warm weather, and then it should start cooling down. So, yeah. So let's see what comments. Because I was planning, I had other plans for tonight. I was going to work on this Bismarck while I'm chatting with you guys, and probably still will do it. I'll see how it goes tomorrow. But I kind of only work on it when I'm in, yeah, I know it would be 10 p.m. there soon. I kind of only work on it when I'm in the mood to, because it's kind of at the critical stage now where it's going to make it or break it. With the finer details. You see, today I started painting these absolutely incredible 5-power 15-inch projectiles out of these, I believe. See, I started painting. There's another gun that goes on top of there, weaponry on top of that. So of course these turn, they go up and down, so on. I was going to do some painting, gluing stuff on here, show you working with it. I still might do that any day now. One day I'll pop on live any time during the day. I'll try to get the camera on a tripod and get in close and show you doing some painting, some parts. In hindsight, there's not a lot of painting needs to be done because most of this top part over here was all grey. Obviously, I don't want bright colours. It's a battleship, guys. It's not a cruise ship holiday. It's a battleship. So it has to be hidden from their enemies. So they used to sit quite low in the water. Hence why you see a lot of these wave breakers they've got here, which I'm yet to paint and glue in place. On certain sections along the bench to try to stop as much water washing over the decks. Very wide, very stable ship, very long. It could be 251 metres, I think this one was. So quite a big ship. Especially considering that the firepower, unbelievable firepower on these things. Particularly the, what's the Japanese one called? Is it the Osaka? Something like that. The firepower on that. Far out, guys. You look at that ship and all you see is just cannons just in this section. It's just a bunch of just guns just pointing. Far out. Far out. So yeah, so she's got 4 of these 15-inch double, these barrels. So when you turn it around, 2, 4, 6, 8. You've got 8 of these shooting projectiles of 15-inch wide, had you? And you've got another 3 big ones on the side here, and then numerous ones of these for close range and so on. And then you've got your big machine guns here. So absolutely amazing. Yeah. So let's have a look at some of the comments. Are you going to light it the same as your other ship. No, with the LED lights. I don't think these battleships, I think the only lights that they had are these big, they do have big spotlights. The spotlight goes there. You can see these shutters, they go up and down and close it. And I think there's some more spotlights. There's probably about 6 of these huge spotlights they've got on these ships. I don't know if they had much more than that. Because obviously, you don't want it lit up like a Disneyland cruise ship. So it would be nice to get some strong LED lights into those, which probably could be done. Maybe the next one I'll build, whenever that'll be. I'd love to see you build a model Lancaster bomber. Lancaster bomber. Hang on. Is this the Lancaster bomber? Let me see, I've got one here. Check out some of these. Let me show you this one first. Man, she is so hot outside. It's like an oven. Oops. Shouldn't be showing that insignia, shouldn't I? Oh, upside down. Another. This is what they call dioramas. Oh, no, Mark, I haven't showed you the one yet after this one. Okay, let me show you this other one I've got here. Let me put these ones away first, and I've got a big one here that is a bomber. Oh man, I think I'm going to have to leave the aircon on tonight. I don't think I'll sleep otherwise. What's this plane? Some sort of bomber of some sort. menacing, doesn't it? She's a beauty, isn't she? You see this one, Mark? What is this one? Hope you had a look at that. That's Manchester, I think. Okay. Oh, boy. Oh, I think I'm going to have to leave the aircon on tonight. Oh, it's terrible. This has to be one of the hottest nights that we've had all year. We're not very experienced in forward driving, but would like to have a crack at the old telegraph track. Just don't really want to get too lost. I don't think you'll ever have any problems with getting lost, Peter. The amount of people that goes up there, depending what time of the year you go. If you've never done any forward driving, and you want to do the old telegraph track, there's no reason. I mean, it'll send you packing, if you know what I mean. It's like going on a roller coaster ride, isn't it, folks? It's just as exhilarating, even worse than a roller coaster ride. You'll be very, very careful that you don't lose your vehicle up there. If you're a beginner forward driver, I'd go with the other experienced forward drivers who's done it before. And make sure you've got good insurance that'll cover any mishaps that happen over there. Like Club 4x4, probably a good one. Don't know. You'd have to ask Buck and people like that. They'd know more about that up there. Not sure, I've been that many times, so I do not use them, sorry. Spitfire. Woohoo! Do you know of any good maps that can be loaded into a Garmin Nuvi GPS for Cape York? I reckon probably the best maps out are your can't even think of it. I've got them in me nah, can't think of it. Guys, put some names out there, popular map manufacturers. Once I see the name, yeah. Oh, we still got 21 on, that's cool. My favourite place in Queensland to go camping and fishing and relaxing. Where's that? Changes in 43 years. I've seen a lot of changes in this area in my lifetime. Wow, Craig, I love the Cape. I've been up 24 times in 43 years. Wow. Same me with Fraser Island, guys. I lost count how many times I've been to Fraser. I think I tried to count it once, and I think I lost count at about 38 or something times. So I spent a lot of times on Fraser. Going back, I suppose, for probably 45 to 50 years. I think it was about 50 years the first time I went over there, and then in the past, going very regularly in the past. Yeah, probably about 40 years. It's not the same as, well, Fraser is Fraser. It's always there, you know. Changes you see there are mainly man-made changes usually. Although history, there is a lot of changes on the island over the years. Such as the way it's shaped, the sand blows and so on. So it's always slowly moving, progressing, growing bigger, look further north, etc., moving over towards the coast closer and all that, with all the sand dunes just blown over. It's but it's very, very slow progress. But I was going there back in the days when it used to be controlled by the forestry. And let me tell you, the forestry did a lot of bad things on there, which cut down a lot of trees, those magnificent trees. But they still kind of thought of the future as well. They left a lot of the smaller ones for the future. But I'll tell you one thing they did though, is they freaking looked after the place really well. They really did. The facilities they provided for campers, free firewood. You'd go there and there'd be piles and piles of perfectly cut timber in a perfect length. Humongous big truckloads, and as soon as it starts getting down a bit, they back there and there was fireplaces everywhere. No one burnt the place down back then. You know, I think a lot of people had more common sense back then and did things properly. But there was a lot of tracks. A lot of tracks. They went everywhere, just tracks everywhere, zigzag, boom, 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 boom. I've pretty much explored. I've got some very, very rare forestry maps from the forestry showing all these tracks. Only people in the industry had these maps, these proper forestry. So this is proper forestry maps that have all the... And man, you go grab the new maps nowadays and overlay it, put them side by side, and look at the difference there was in how many tracks there used to be back then to how many tracks there is now. Yeah, sure, I mean, there was a lot back then. There was probably way too many, but there was some magnificent. There used to be tracks that used to go to what they called the Hidden Lake. I don't know if anyone knows about the Hidden Lake. I have driven to it a couple of times in my 4 drive over the years to the Hidden Lake. You do not see the lake at all. You literally do not see the lake unless you're within meters of it. The vegetation is that thick. It's just lush, just the rainforest. Unbelievable. There's parts on that island now that you cannot get to where you used to be able to drive to, where the rainforest is a lot more impressive than what it is at Central Station or Pile Valley. And the trees, some of the girth of the trees, humongous beasts of trees. And unfortunately you can't get to those parts now. So very, very few people used to go there. I remember I used to always drive around with a chainsaw in the back of the car, and you were allowed to back then, and in fact the forestry actually appreciated it because it saved them work. Because you drive along and there'd be a tree down, you get out, get the chainsaw out, cut the tree out the way and drive through. Forestry come through, oh thanks mate, good on you, you know, how they like they encouraged it. That's how different it is now. And then the national parks took over, and whoa, the changes overnight that I've seen the difference from then. The changes, oh, mind-blowing. They would have closed 3/4 of those tracks literally overnight. Amazing. There used to be one that you used to be able to drive to within incredible lake. It's a Lake Buarity. I don't know. Used to be a fairly famous lake. Now you can only get to it if you walk 20 k's to get to it. But you used to be able to drive to within 100, 200 meters of it. Perfectly good track. Amazing track. Easy for driving, hard ground, compact ground. You know, no damage whatsoever. No more damage than what a shower of rain would make coming through. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, they closed that track. And now hardly anyone goes there unless you're a bushwalker. And even then, you've got to be really careful. You know what you've got to do. HEMA, that's it. HEMA maps, that's the one. I think you can't go past the HEMA maps for your Cape York and that. They're topographical maps, that is. So, same as Fraser Island. Your HEMA topographical maps are very, very good up there. Nowadays, you just follow the road signs. You can get around the place without a map there. Hi, Michael. Just follow the road signs everywhere. It's funny compared to what it used to be. So I've seen a lot of changes on Fraser. The weather here is hot. Stupidly, ridiculously hot. It's like an oven outside. It's so hot that I don't think I'll be able to sleep if I don't leave this aircon on tonight. I'm going to have to leave it on. The weather station's saying it's 26.5 outside, but 90% humidity, which feels like 31 degrees Celsius. Crazy. There's no breeze at all. There's no wind. So we're out of the firing line here. The cyclone is far away from us. It just went past us within 400 k's off the coast. We had some big seas. Not really much damage done anywhere. I don't think there was any damage done anywhere. A lot of sand. Most of the damage is sand off the beaches. A lot of the beaches here have lost like 2 meters of sand. It's like 2 meter drop down onto the beach. Can't imagine what it must be like at Monrepos there, all those poor researchers trying to save those turtle eggs. But most of them probably would have hatched and left by now. They had a big year, the turtles, this year, so there's a lot of eggs out there. They do get relocated, the eggs, because they're an endangered species, particularly the loggerhead turtles. And we've got one of the biggest, if not the biggest, turtle rookery in the southern hemisphere for the loggerhead turtles. Isn't that amazing? Not many people do realise that. But the significance along this coastline for the critically endangered loggerhead turtles. It's one of probably the only place in the world where the numbers have actually increased. But in saying that, there's still lots of threats, and such as global warming. But the biggest threat to the loggerhead turtles, the nesting turtles in our region, is development. In particular, street lighting. I remember years and years ago, no, not years ago, when I first started as a turtle researcher for the Queensland Government, Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service, I did turtle research. When I first started doing that back 27, 28 years ago, and we patrolled along the beach at Monrepos. Monrepos is one of the beaches along here. It's a turtle rookery. It's a conservation park now, so it's protected. And thank God it was protected, because if it wasn't protected, those turtles would not be here now this day. I can guarantee 100% tell you that. And we used to cop a lot of backlash and that. The locals used to always hated us. The locals used to always say, oh, you're scaring the turtles away, you're doing this. We used to come down here and the kids and sit on the turtles and ride them as they come up and down the beach and all that. Yeah, that's just, yeah, you know, just crazy, guys, just crazy. And some of the locals really got aggro. There's been times where they'd come up and punch you. And so we had to call, we had a quick dial number of mobile phones to the local police. And as soon as there's any issues, and let me tell you, it's quite a number of times we've had issues, and we had to call the police. And these folks are literally, the police are just literally dragging them from feet, just carrying them on their feet and hands, just getting them away from, they're just aggro people, it's aggro. Just so angry, so mean. And it's a lot of locals that live around there. Oh, the kids are, oh, you're taking the turtles, oh, you're doing this, oh, the numbers is not as many because of you guys and that. No idea, far out. You try to educate them, you try to talk to them, and they just go stupid in the head. They get more aggro. Oh, fuck. It got to the point, just give up, man, just give up. You're never going to, the more you talk to them, you know, the more aggro it gets, so you just ignore them. You just sit there, do your job. It got to the point where some of the beaches I used to go to, I couldn't go on my own anymore. I had to have other people with me, virtually like a guard, to watch you. Because they'd sneak up behind you. Yeah, it's just crazy, guys. It's just crazy. But one of the biggest threats they got now, I was talking to one of the researchers who I bumped into the beach recently, and he was telling me, and this is something that's starting to happen when I was working, there was street lighting, particularly the hatchlings. See, when the hatchlings So they're laid around arm's length, whatever the length of my arm is. I don't know, whatever that is. 60 centimetres, whatever. 57 centimetres, I think it is the average. They'll dig a hole, so I use their hind flippers and go in like this. Boop, pick it out, drop it out. Boop, pick it out, drop it out. Believe me guys, I know, because I've crawled behind thousands of them when they're doing that and just sitting there watching them do it. So I know exactly. And in fact, I used to help them. We used to have some priority turtles, special turtles, that, and sometimes they go like this and pat it down. It's how they use their back flippers. I had to help them. Obviously I don't do it like that. I just dig in and just making sure I don't touch them. So sneak up, crawl up behind, because they got such a big carapace and it's such a big turtles. They can't see you if you hide up behind them. And they'll come in and they'll have a flipper missing because the shark is eating their flipper. Or they have no flippers at the back. But even though they've got no flippers at the back, they'll still come up at the beach and they'll still try to dig a nest. And of course they've got no flippers, so they can't dig the nest. So they'll sit there and they'll try and try and try and try and try, and they're sitting there thinking, what the hell's going on here? You know, there's no hole. You know, I'm too tired. I had enough of this, and I'll go back out in the sea, the water. Then they'll come back the next night or two and try again. And try and try and try and try. And after 3, 4, 5 attempts, whatever, they just drop the eggs out at sea. And of course, they're dead. You know, they won't survive. And because they're critically endangered, our job was to try to get as many of the youngs. We do whatever we could to get as many. That was our priority, to get as many of the youngsters to survive, to nest, to run down on the beach. So you then interfere with nature, the process. So I used to crawl up behind. I hope you don't mind me talking about the turtles. Very passionate about them. Sea turtles, the sea life. So I crawl up behind them, and as long as I don't touch them, and I dig for them. Dig, and then boop, they lay the eggs. Covering, they got no problems. So, yep. So, and it'd be average loghead turtle, 127 eggs. Could be as many as 160, 170 plus. Sometimes it'd be over 200 eggs. And Mon Repos is a very, very high success rate. Hatchlings, something like 95, 96% would hatch. And Mon Repos is very important because not like the islands, you get the Barrier Reef Islands with that white sand, which is really cold, which then predominantly breeds male turtles. Because of the sand at Mon Repos, it retains more heat. And that's another problem there with the heat, the hot weather we're getting. Sometimes these days that you get that are absolutely ridiculously hot, cooks them, even though they're 60 centimetres underground, cooks them. They literally fry, and they don't. And let me tell you, when that happens, and then the eggs go rotten, and then they're sitting underground, can get very smelly. Because as researchers, because they're critically endangered species, we dig up whether they're hatched or not hatched. After the hatchlings have hatched and ran down to the water, we dig them up out of the sand very carefully because they're very brittle, particularly by this stage. They're very brittle, the eggs, so you've got to try to keep them intact. We dig them out very carefully, lay them out individually, go through every egg and count them. Count how many is hatched, how many dead cells. And then you might have some that haven't hatched. You got to break them open and see why. Are they dead in the shell? How far have they developed? Is it fox predatory? Is it crabs predatory? Everything gathered, all written down, history, and all that history goes down because every turtle comes up on those beaches that got titanium tags on them that we tag, these huge titanium tags that we put, and they're flippers over here. We don't put them here because they tend to be able to go around like that and bite them off. They put them in here where they can't reach them. And usually you'll have 2 on every turtle, but if we've got a priority turtle, we'll have 4 on them. And the priority turtles only started with a T or an O, or they got an O in it. And you know they're priority turtles. So special tag numbers that we used, and they're titanium tags. When they hatch, it takes them about 5 days to hatch. So they'll climb up and they'll assist each other. So the ones on the outside will climb up, boom. Then the other ones at the bottom climb up, boom, rest. As they get up and they're within the top 2-3 inches of the lay of the land, sand, if they feel it's really warm, they'll sit there, basically sleep, just rest until it cools down. So, which is quite smart because then you think normally once the sand cools down, it's night time. There's predators around, all right? There's predators. But it's funny, you could be down there and there'd be a dark cloud come over and it'll start raining and bang, all of a sudden you've got all these little hatchlings running down out to sea during the day because they think it's night time. But otherwise, generally what happens is once it gets dark enough, then bang, anywhere up to 200 or whatever. Average is about 127 for the logheads, but greens are a lot higher. You get all these little things and they're like little robots, you know, they just, all they're programmed to do is just swim, that's it. And what they do is they look for the lowest light or brightest light that they can see, and then they go for that. Now, what the problems they've been having along the coastline here of late in this area, and this is where I'm getting to before with the light development and that, is that they're getting confused. The lights are very bright over the western side, not over the ocean side. So where do you think they go? They don't go out to sea, they follow the bright light. And they go poof, inland. Okay. Oh yeah, full moon, yeah, I love the full moon. A lot of turtles nest on the full moon this night. Full moon nights are very big because there's big tides and that. It brings them right up on the beach. They like that. They don't have as far to go up the beach to lay their eggs because it's a big job, particularly some of those big girls. So on the island, particularly some of the greens, we measure from carapace to carapace. And I've had some girls where I could not reach. My arm span was not wide enough. And it says 127 centimetres, some over 130 centimetres long, just their carapace without their heads. There's some big greens on the island. Smart turtles too on the islands, let me tell you. They know when to flick sand in your eye and they're very good at it. They time it so they get you all the time. So you've got to be very careful. because those greens are smart enough to know when to flick sand. So, and of course you got to be careful you don't get your fingers bitten. So that's the problem. So you ever get a chance to, yeah, cool, good. I was just going to say, because see, you've been to Mon Repose. If you ever get a chance to, go to Mon Repose, particularly when I got little hatchlings run. And you got your turtle guides. I used to be a turtle guide. I started as a turtle guide at Mon Repose Beach, explaining all these things. The TEDs, that came in back in 2000, early 2000s, in the late 90s. I've seen that happen, huge difference. Used to get up in the morning, you'd find about 10 drowned turtles on the beach. You had to pick up every morning. So freaking sad. And finally they got those TEDS devices. Man, they made a difference. It's 9:30, it's not 1 a.m. My clock says it's 9:30, so it should only be 10:30 there, guys. Now, you ever go to Mon Repose, take notice, particularly now this time of the year when they're bringing the hatchlings down onto the beach. Have you ever seen what I always will ask the kids, if you've got a little torch or something, bring a torch and stand in a line. Let's stand there with your legs apart, don't move, and shine the torch in front of you, and the little hatchlings will go past and crawl over your legs and so on and go back into the water. Mate, we don't do that just for the touristy thing. That's not done for tourism. But yeah, guys, it's done for us. That helps us. You know what that does? It gets those hatchlings into the water. So let's use the tourists. Because the lights are too bright over the Bundy area. So the hatchlings will hatch and head up there. But remember I told you before, they'll follow the lowest light they see or the strongest light they'll see. So you could sit there, they're like little puppies. You could sit there in front of them and shine a torch in front of them and they'll follow you everywhere. You can lead them, you can take them on a little Maryland walk, and it's not just the little hatchlings. You can do that with the big turtles too. They'll follow the light. You have the torch in front of them. They'll follow you. They'll follow you like a puppy dog. And that's why they do it, guys. So don't think you're interfering with nature. You're helping nature. It's a very important part. And then see, they got the yolk. The last thing they absorb is the yolk. The yolk will give them enough energy to swim for about 2, 3, and maybe up to 5 days non-stop. All right? And that's what they'll do. Once they're above the sand, I'd pick them up and it's still doing a swimming motion. They won't stop. Swim. They'll do that until they've run out of energy. And then usually by that time that happens, they're well past Fraser Island and they're way out in the major ocean currents. And then that major ocean currents takes them down south, right down, I believe, down New South Wales, and beeline straight out into the sea. Where they end up, goodness knows where. Usually not until they're larger than dinner plate size before they'll find an area where they like and they'll decide to live there. It could be beside a perfectly good beach where turtles go to nest. But you think they'll go and nest there? No, they don't nest there. It could be 2,000 kilometres away and they're within a kilometre of a nesting beach. No, they don't nest there. They come back to where they were born. And that's where they'll nest. Even though they could be living within 100 metres of a nesting beach where turtles nest. So hence why they don't nest every year. It's all to do with the Nina patterns and all that. So the seabirds, how wealthy they are, particularly with the greens. You can usually always predict when you're going to have the big years by the conditions of the seagrasses, etc., and the El Nino effects and all that, the climate and all that. You can tell when the big seasons are going to be. And boy, when the conditions are perfect, spot on, like they were this year, last year I should say, the numbers are huge because the turtles are in their peak condition. And that's the only time when they'll nest, is when they're in peak conditions. And that can be average, it varies, but it can average every 5 to 7 years. So they don't nest all the time. Turtles that don't, and during the nesting period, they don't feed, they don't eat. So that's why they could be traveled 2,000 kilometers and they'll reach that area, and then the males will migrate to the same area, vicinity, and then they'll mate out at sea with quite a few of the males. And then when they've done their job, then they piss off and go back to their feeding grounds. So the mating's always done at the beach where the nesting season is. And then they'll hang around for 2 weeks and just linger within 20 k's or so. We know that because we put satellite trackers on there. We used to fiberglass these satellite trackers onto the turtles that used to pick up signal when they would emerge, and we used to be able to follow them. And they'd stay within 20-25 k's off the coast. Every 2 weeks come in, lay 127 eggs, average 5 times, 7 times or whatever. Green turtles, a lot more, but for loggerheads, round about that. Depends. Some of those girls that have migrated 2,000 kilometres away, we know because they got tags on them. So they also, occasionally, researchers go to these grounds, feeding grounds, grounds where they live, and do what they call a turtle rodeo. So you come up along on the boat. If you see a turtle, woohoo, it's just like a rodeo where they jump off and grab the turtle. So they'll jump off, dive in, grab the turtle, pick it up, put it in the boat, check the tags, measure and all that, then release it, record on data. And then you'll see that turtle come back to Monterey Post or in vicinity of this area to nest. So then you know that turtle, and that's because that turtle's travelled such a far distance, that's going to be a priority turtle. So what they mean by that is where we gather extra information on that turtle. You know, occasionally I might take it up to the lab and do an ultrasound or laparoscopy and so on. Laparoscopy, sorry, more so ultrasound. Yeah, actually we have done laparoscopies, what I'm talking about, ultrasound. So just like your normal doctors do. I used to help them do all that and so on. I loved it, it was fun. So yeah, so that's the interesting part about it. So it's quite unique. I don't know, at the research centre, I don't know what they teach there. Don't they, you guys have been there recently, don't they have a ranger there that talks about stuff like this? I know we used to have rangers there that did. So, yeah, fascinating creatures, they really are. So, and another thing is too, after so many years and so many thousands and thousands and thousands of turtles, I've been on beaches where there was 1,000+ turtles on the beach. I couldn't walk on the sand, couldn't even see the sand. I had to walk on turtles to go from one to another on some of the islands. There'll be 1,000 turtles on the beach in one hit. You always see it's just, yeah, the greens and all that out in the sea. But like I said, predominantly they're males that's bred there. So obviously, if you want to, you need males, but you also need females. And the thing is, because they take such a long time before they get to the age where they'll start breeding, in excess of 30 years old, 35, 37 years old, before they'll start nesting for the first time. So you can see how things are just entirely against them. But like I said, huge success along Monrepos with the numbers. I remember starting there in the late 90s. There'd be many groups of visitors that go there that would not see a turtle. You'd have to be unlucky now not to see some sort of activity now. I heard this year was a big boomer year. The numbers just blew me away. Obviously, it's just in a feeding ground. The conditions just must have been spot on, must have been perfect. So, yep. Because I heard things weren't happening as well as what I expected they might have been since the last time I was there, helping these guys out. So, and most of what I did, guys, was volunteer work. So, I was a bit of a farmer at the time. Well, not mostly farmer, I had a bit of a computer business, and I used to go down at night time and do all night shifts out on the beach and come home and then work on computers, try to get a few hours sleep. But then when I'd go to the islands, I'm part of the Parks and Wildlife Service staff then, where they cover the costs. You know, go on the parks boats and so on, whatever, and go and stay on the residents of the parks, such as Heron Island. Yeah. Northwest Island, which is northwest of Heron Island. There's a little island there. It's about easterly direction. You can't see it, but it's an off-limit island. The only time people are ever there is 2 weeks around Christmas time for research of the turtles. So, because it's only about 3 or 4 people. So it's only 3 or 4 people allocated to go on this island once a year for 2 weeks to do turtle research. So because the wildlife there don't regularly see people, and then when you rock up there, they're inquisitive. They're blown away. They're not scared of you. So they'll literally come right up to you, which is amazing. They haven't learnt to be in fear of men. Yeah. So yeah, this is quite amazing, the difference that you do see in some of these protected places with the wildlife. I need a drink. How long we've been going for? 108 minutes. Cool, cool. Any more comments? "1 a.m. Are you sure? My clock says it's 1:45. What is the time, guys? Is my clock... No, it's 9:46 p.m. So it should be 10:46. Pigs and dingoes and TOs eat lots up the Cape. Yeah, Cape is a bit of a problem. Not many people have witnessed that, mate. Talk about witness stuff. First time I went to Northwest Island. I went there and there was 2 other researchers there, a couple of rangers. And that first night I went down to the, early evening, went down to the beach, and they didn't warn me. They said, "Wear this helmet." Helmet? Hey, going back. Why would I want to wear a helmet? Don't go down a secluded beach. Why would I wear a helmet? I know at Monrepos Beach, they used to dress us up to look like, what's it, that dude that's got the yellow helmet, G.I. Joe or whatever? That cartoon character with the yellow helmet. We used to look like them. Because Dr. Cole Limpers, whenever he goes down on the beach, likes to look around and see where his research team is and know where they are all the time. So at night time, the only way he could pick us out amongst the crowd if we're working on a turtle beside him or something is by seeing if we had these big, hard builders' yellow hats on. Hard helmets. So they had me wear one down there, and I said, "Why is this?" They said, "Believe me, wear it. You'll find out soon." And I went down to the beach, just on dusk. Bob the Builder. Yeah, he used to look like Bob the Builder. Just on dusk. The spitting image, right? The spitting image of Bob the Builder. Just on dusk. And I looked over the horizon to the north. And I looked and it was like a freaking scene out of a horror movie. And I looked, what the? All I could see was black. A black mass. Just black. It was like a scene out of the Pharaoh movies, movie set. I'm thinking, what the hell? And it's getting bigger and darker and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then all of a sudden, bang! I hit flat on the floor. Well, these birds just landing into me hard hat helmet. So you're laying on the ground just taking cover, and they're sitting there cracking up laughing. Those mutton birds, these bowbirds, these birds that fly and migrate from China, and they got wingspans. Their bodies, their body's only so wide and they're that long, and they're black, and they've got a wingspan like out here like this, and they're like a glider, even wider than that, guys, absolutely humongous like this, and they hardly flap their wings, and they fly fast. So, because they're coming so fast, they crash land. Just boom, they go on the ground and they roll over, they fly in your helmet and they fall down and then they plonk on the ground. They sit there, shake their head and look up at you like this. They're not scared of you. They've got no fear of you. No fear of you. It's just so freaking funny, eh? And then at night time, oh God, honestly, I've got no idea how people can sleep on those islands. Lucky I didn't have to try to sleep because I was working at night and slept during the day. Yeah, shearwaters. And they migrate from China and they nest every summer on the islands along the coast. And they dig burrows in the sand and lay the eggs there, and the little hatchlings are hatch. So you're walking around and you see these thousands of little puffs of sand that, you know, just go choo 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 out of all these holes, and there's these birds. And all night long, all you hear, they go, arr, 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 louder than Joey. It sounds like a jet plane. You got millions of them, and that's all you hear. And I got no fear. You can walk right up to them, and then you got the little noddies. Oh, so cute, the little noddies. I love them. The noddies. Far out. So it's incredible. So at night time, that's all they do. They just sit there, dig holes, lay eggs, sit there and go, arr, 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 and just sit there looking. You could literally walk up to them and pick them up. They've got no fear of you whatsoever, the people. And then just on dusk, as soon as it's light in the morning, they got to do a run up. So I don't know if you've ever seen on TV, because they can't just sit there and flap and fly away, because they hardly flap. They're just gliding. So they run, they're like an aeroplane, they take off and they run as fast as they can, and they flap their wings out and they run. Sometimes half the time they somersault, fall over, and then eventually they get off the ground, and they might try to flap a little bit, and they might run into a bird or run into someone walking on the beach or run into us with their helmets, and then poof, head off north. And then you won't see them all day till the same thing, just in dust. You get that big mass, and boom, they come back. Absolutely incredible, fascinating, eh? Particularly on Northwest Island, Mason Island, which is northwest of Heron Island, hence it's called Northwest Island. There's a campground there, incredible campground. The only way to get there is by a private boat, because it's so far off the sea. If I could be any animal, what could it be? I don't know, I never thought of that. That's a good question. Don't know. Interesting. I'd have to think of that one. But there are private commercial operators from Gladstone that will take you over to Northwest Island, and that's by barge. So it can take, depending how rough the conditions of the seas, can take 8, 9, 10 hours and even overnight to get there by barge. So I don't know how much it is nowadays, but back then I think it was $3,000 for a barge or something. So a lot of people, and there'd be like a national park campground there, marine parks campground with toilets, no water, there's no fresh water, so you got to bring everything. But these guys, you know, they'll have 44-gallon drums of water, and you rock up on the beach with these barges and you roll out with your 44-gallon drums of water, or you pull out with your trailer, it's got a boat on it. You can put on whatever you want on there, eh? Because there's certain parts of the island you can go fishing, and the fishing is just incredible there, guys. Amazing. Well, when we were working there as turtle researchers, we also had a duty of being campground hosts. So I had to make sure the campers are fine and everything, and if anyone had any problems or any accidents, you know, we had the main first aid kit there, etc., and make sure maintenance is kept up, the toilets and all that. So that was part of your duties as well, to be a campground host. And anyone can be a campground host there if you want to do it. In fact, they want me to be a campground host at, I never told you this, Terry, but they wanted me to be a campground host up at, what's that freaking mountain near Kingaroy? Bunya Mountains, the main campground in September school holidays, with someone else. I said, no, I'm going to the Legends, not the Legends, camping with mates things. I'm not going to miss that for the world, guys. So yeah, it's freaking awesome over there. And Heron Island, you don't see many Australians go there. It's a very expensive island to go there. It's a very secluded island, amazing reef, and a very old resort, but fairly posh, particularly on the inside. And of course we had full facilities use of the resort and that. And I've met quite a few celebrities over the years there, because it was promoted very heavily in America. So it's a lot of overseas people go there, and a lot of the big name Hollywood celebrities used to go there for a break. And true story, guys, I met what was his name again? He passed away recently. He used to come to the beach and help me at night with the turtle research. Shh, don't tell anyone, no one's supposed to do that. He had that deep voice. He was the main one I met. Oh shit. He minds, not Gene Hackman. No, not Chris Christopherson. He recently passed away, I think last year. His son's also a movie star. He was in Hunger Games and stuff like that too. The older guy in Hunger Games. Tall dude, long, got blonde hair generally. He usually plays villains in a lot of movies. No, not James Earl Jones. Oh, I can't believe my mind's gone blank. I can't think of him. Yes. Sir Don Sutherland. And you know, I didn't recognise him at first. Why is me light in the kitchen so low? That's weird. Oh, it doesn't matter. I didn't recognise him straight away. He used to invite me for lunch all the time. He used to spend a lot of money on lunch, and I'd say, Don, shit, mate, Don, you're spending too much money. I had no idea the guy was filthy rich. It's nothing, Phil. You're doing a great, you know, in deep voice. You're doing great. Oh, for me, you know, Phil, you know, this is the least I can do. You know, I'm loving spending the time with you, and you get me, help me and all this. I said to him, Don, you look freaking familiar. Have you been on TV? He wouldn't say. He didn't say a lot. You're not a news reporter, are you? No. He laughed. And his wife one day said, Phil, yeah, he's been a lot on TV. But he doesn't want anyone to know who he is. That's what he loves about this place. He can't go anywhere private. It's just, okay. And I saw him the following night. He came down. I said, Don, I figured who you are now. And I said, Don, you're the same person to me. I don't care if you're a movie star or not. And he said, I appreciate that, Phil. You got no idea. Appreciate that. Amazing. He must have had a hard time, eh? And stuff like that. So, yeah. What an experience, mate. What an experience. And every night he used to come down and help me. Mate, I had no choice. I was there on my own. I had 2 other researchers that pissed off. They were freaking useless. And it was a big year. And there was 200-300 turtles per night I had to process. It was flat out. So he used to come down and help me. That's so funny. There we go. Get a drink. Here we go. Yeah. I was down in Monrepos one night. This dude walks up. And I looked at him and thought, there's a camera. This guy with this big mic. What the fuck? It's like 10 o'clock at night. And I just so happened to be up at the research thing there, taking a break. And he walks up. I'm Charles Woolley, the 60 Minutes, here to do a story on endangered species. And I thought, well, I'll be frickin' damned. I met Charles Woolley talking down the beach. Oh, what an amazing guy. Who else is there? I don't know. We had this really hot chick from, gosh, she was a bitch. Sorry, she was. One of those shows on TV, Great Outdoors or whatever, this big one though, it was one of the big shows, and this really hot, dead, gorgeous young chick that was one of the announcers there. She come down to Monrepos, and God, nasty piece, eh? Far out. Sorry, the guy who ever married her. Well, you probably need a gold D to get anywhere near her, literally. But you wouldn't want to. I can't remember her name now. Nah. It was fun. So, yeah. Wouldn't mind going back down there, helping them out again one year. You had to be super fit to do it though. You know, there'd be nights where you'd easily walk 20 plus Ks per night, particularly if there wasn't many turtles around. If there was, you didn't walk as far. But it's very physical work. I don't know if I could do it anymore. Any more questions, guys? An hour and a half, wow. Oh, did I wear Lukey Reed out? Good night, Luke. No worries, Landy. They do, Landy. They want to be regular. They want to try to experience a regular life. Yeah. It's going to be a great weekend in September. Can't wait to have so many of you awesome people here. I used to crowline fish out there go past North Reef. Are you aware of Rain Island? Rain Island, Craig? If you're a pro surf, beef out there. Rain Island, way up north. Get as many as 20,000 plus green turtles a night nest on that island. Mind-boggling. Sometimes it's in excess of 30, 40,000. Oh, and they crap all over you. Craig, have you experienced those birds on the islands? Yeah. Mutton birds are delicious. The island's just full of shit. It's covered in shit. Especially with those islands that are naughty birds. The trees are just caked in shit. A lot of times it smells like a toilet. Are you still there, Luke? Woo! Oh yeah, Rain Island, mate. Rain Island. Yeah, incredible. Far away off the coast though. Off Cairns. Like further north past Cairns. I wonder if Bucker's ever heard of Rain Island. Been from up that way? Probably not. Look it up, Buck. Rain Island. Yeah, okay. 10 o'clock. Jeez, I thought it would have been a lot later than that. Oh, my butt's getting sore from hitting on that hard chair. So what do you guys think of this mammoth thing? Trying to build it the best of my ability. You can see how many parts there is still to go. So, a lot of these parts don't get painted. They just stay grey. Like, I might do some weathering to age it a little bit, but then in saying that, this colour scheme that I'm painting is pretty much the most popular colour scheme you'll find. A lot of model builders will paint it because it looks so good. At one stage, these stripes here, like this white stripe, continue up, and they'll continue up along here with the black as well, this one as well, and that one as well. So when you look at it right down like this, you'll see it's just a straight line. So that wouldn't be easy to paint. Like I'd have to get a ruler or something, you know, have a straight line along there. Picture that black line's coming up along here, along there, over here, paint that section black. But it wouldn't be too hard to do, guys. Wouldn't be too hard to do. So same as the white. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have it this scheme here. And this is the colour scheme they had when it went into its first battle. And it succeeded with that, and I think they probably figured out it's probably standing out too much. So then they painted over all of this, just all grey. Same as this, just all grey. This, not a lot of colours in here, because obviously they don't want it to stand out in water, so I'm researching the colour schemes and trying to match as possible. Now, it's not 100% exact replica of the Bismarck. There is a little bit of the turpits in this here that I didn't realise at the time when I first started making these. But I've recently found out that this deck here on the Bismarck doesn't go all the way to the end. It finishes back here, the turpits. So this has got a little bit of the turpits in it. And I think that there as well is part of the turpits. The rest is all Bismarck. Alright, 100% Bismarck. So I didn't realise that at the time, but it's only this deck. So it's only real enthusiasts who would know the difference. But if I was going to make this again, I'd like to do another one of the turpits. I'm going to do it one day, same size, and the turpit's got a different colour scheme. So instead of these, it's got the same here with the red, the black stripe, but here they got your proper camo where they got the light grey and the dark grey. It's shaped like so on. And this part's a much lighter colour with different shades of dark here and there. It looks really nice, really nice. I reckon it'll look amazing sitting beside this. So one day I'd like to build that, but I need to make some HO buildings and sell and paint it so I can get some money in, cover some of the costs, and particularly build the turpits on that. So it's probably going to be my next build. Is the sister ship of this one here, the turpits. How amazing that'll look up here on the wall, on the shelf. Bismarck turpits, 2 metre long. Particularly if I make the turpits into an RC control. Can you imagine rocking that at a pond with a 2 metre boat that's radio controlled? When you get some looks. There she is. Yeah. These guns look awesome, man. Started painting these up. I've got to do a bit more research and see what other colours. I think these are done. Because most of all this top part is all grey. They had these little float things that are yellow, so I painted that yellow. Very carefully studying the colours. So yeah. This part goes over here. The real thing, it spins around. It's like a radar. So it's got 3 radars on here. There's another one here. I think this one was up here. Another one here. This one is down here. More folding planes. It's got to sit on the decks here. This hasn't been glued down yet. It's just sitting there like that. That goes there. And then you've got this deck here that goes there. And then you've got this mast. Top part of the mast is painted very dark grey. Bottom just a normal grey. That goes like this, that way. Like so. And you've got another Where's the other mast? Here it is, got another mast here. It goes over yonder. And then there's going to be wires that go across that. I don't know how long this is going to take. Look at some of the lifeboats. Look at the details on these. Incredible, the 3D printed. How awesome are they, eh? Incredible. That won't be too hard to paint them. So, yeah, freaking lot of pieces here. So you got these pieces like these, which will need to be painted a darker grey. So all these panels are 3D printed with the resin, and they all go places like back here, like so, covers along there, like you see here, and there, along there. So and of course you've got your railings that goes all along the... I'm not happy with these railings I've got here. I mean, they look good, but they're too brittle. So I'm looking for some more substantial, stronger railings. And I think I've found some. You only got to touch them and they break, they're too thin. I already got the chains here. I wish I could show you the details on here. It looks amazing. All hand painted. So yeah. Yeah, I'm quite happy how this is coming along. There's your spotlights here. These would be cool to put your LED lights on. They sit up here. They get glued there in place. But what I'll do is I'll paint these with a really high silver reflective colour, so the light will reflect off it and looks like they've got lights on. It's another deck that goes off here, which is over here somewhere, that at the moment does not fit. Here we go, there's two of these. You see the railings on them. You can see how the railings are a lot more solid, those pieces. But this here should just slide over here. But yeah, I think that goes over here. It doesn't fit in place in the holes, so I don't know how. I have to drill these holes out very carefully, hopefully without breaking them. Drill that hole a bit bigger and this one a bit bigger, so they will slide in here. So if I do that, then I'll be able to swing it in and out. And I suppose if I stuff it up, I can just always print another one. It's a beauty when you make your own. It's not like you have to try to source another part. So yeah, so even these chains here, they're 3D printed. Here's some over here, full of rare. I've got sitting here drying. You wouldn't believe you could actually 3D print stuff like that, would you? Incredible. Alright, I'm going to go now. I've been on a lot longer than I thought it was. It's only just after 20 past 10. Alright guys, so thanks for joining me. That was an awesome live feed, 145 minutes. Yeah. How many hours invested in it? Whew. Oh my gosh, to this stage. Oh, shit, man. Geez, there's a shitload of work gone into this. Cannot tell you how much work has gone into that. There's a guy on YouTube that builds these, same as mine. Thanks, Luke. Guy on YouTube builds these same as mine. Same size. The only difference is he makes some RC, which I could easily make this into an RC. And it's in the States. And he sells them for $8,000 US. So, crazy, eh? This size. Absolutely crazy, guys. Yeah, she's got a bit of weight to her too, eh? Yeah. Now you can make these motorised, these turrets, spin around, go up and down. One guy shoots projectiles, set it up so it shoots projectiles at it. I watched a video, I found this guy who makes them, he's got about 10 of them. He's been making them for about 35 years. All around about this size. And he's got one there that shoots the projectiles out of it, and I'll tell you what, it's very powerful. Must be air actuated. It's just a splash, just like the real thing. It's unbelievable. So you can have these remote controls so they turn around and the guns move up and down. Like, so these all 3D printed in resin. You can see how I can move them up. So yeah. You know the beauty of making them this size, they're actually a lot easier to make this large size than they are the smaller ones because the parts are bigger. So yeah, it's freaking awesome. Okay, up here it's going to be one of these guns. I think it's one of these ones with the 4 barrels that goes up here. And I'm going to have some little 3D printed army dudes. So that's going to go right there. So it's going to be, so I'm going to have the guys, I already got some printed. So there'll be some characters here. What colour were their suits back in? What did they wear? Were they all white overalls? The Bismarck crew? Does anyone know back in World War II days? Just curious. And there's a heap of these little guns that shoot, that sits off over here as well. It's an amazing amount of weaponry they got on these. I'm not happy with the barrels on these ones, how they printed. I don't think they're thick enough. I might redo them, put them in the CAD and redesign those ones myself. So, oh wow, my school teacher in primary school, his grandfather was on the Bismarck. Wow. Huh, that's incredible. That's amazing. Yeah. 2,200 souls was on this ship when it went down. Also, I think 1,600, I believe, was on the hood when the Bismarck took the hood down. 1,600 bar 3. They perished on that. Yeah, not good, eh guys? Not good. A lot of history in this one. Beautiful ship, particularly when it's painted in this colour scheme. Must have really been a sight to behold. Oh, that plane. Let me move that plane. Put it in a safe place. I don't want the props to break on that. Just glue them back on if they do come off. How awesome. To think they actually even had aeroplanes on it too. 4 planes. And how they launched it, catapulted off the deck. It's just goodness me. Yeah. So that's a catapult. All right. Oh, I need to go and sit down on a comfy chair, so we're going to call it quits now. 152 minutes, so thanks for joining tonight, guys. How many hours do I have in it? I don't know. I didn't count the hours. It's a lot. There's a lot. Definitely going to take a break after this one's finished. Before I build the turpets. I definitely now want to build the turpets now. Yeah. It's not a lot of difference between the Bismarck and the turpets. It's a paint scheme and a few changes to particularly this part around here where a lot of the changes, improvements were done. Yeah. Some of these too I think were slightly different. But I've got the files for those guys. Yep, they're ready there to go. Just got to modify them a bit for that scale. No worries, Jennifer. Okay, I'm going to go now. So, thanks for joining in, eh? That was a good live chat. Thanks, Koala Man. Yeah, it was awesome. So, it's been a while since I've done a livey, especially at night. I don't think I've ever done one at night before. Yeah. So, great work on the build. You have missed, eh? You have to jump in your little truck and go across the little boat and drive up and come and visit. You should come up to the camping with mates, Luke, if you get a chance to in September. And hang around a bit and go camping somewhere together after the event. It'd be awesome. Yeah. Not as far for you to travel. Yeah, be good. Okay. I shall catch you all next time, eh? See yous. Maybe. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be good. Just finding where the sign out button is on this. Alright, see you later, guys. Thanks for joining in, eh? Great talk. Okay, bye. Till next time.